is one of the universal. أيها الناس is all people of the world. إن وعد الله حق. His word is truth. فلا تغرنكم الحياة الدنيا. Make sure that you are not deceived in دار الغرور. And remember, وما تدري نفس ماذا تكسب غدا وما تدري نفس بأي أرض تموت. Just be ready. Because you don't know the time, you don't know the place. You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And you are not sure about بأي أرض, what place. Since time and place of death is not determined in your mind and is not clear, better just to be aware all the time. Are you out of those people that يحبون العاجلة ويذرون وراءهم يوما ثقيلا? Those people who are just looking for petty cash now, they are not planning. You see some people just they are moving around anywhere there is something, يعني cash, right away they can get something. These are يحبون العاجلة. They are not people who are planning for longer term. They are negligent of the day that is coming, يوما ثقيلا, a very, very serious event ahead. They are ignorant about it. And the reason is that they are driving with their desires in this world. The desire for power, for pleasure, for money, for prestige, for fame. So they let their desires to be drivers of their souls in this Dar al-Ghurur. And Quran talks about these people and it says, أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَّهَهُ هَوَاهُ. Their government is not God. Their government is their material. That is their goal. When people are driving with their desires, حب الشهوة وحب المال وحب المقام وحب الجاه, they are ready to help themselves, even if that means to hurt somebody else. That means that they don't care about justice. They are ready to violate other people's rights, violation of other people, and exercise injustice. Because all they care is their own desires and their own shahwat. They are ready to hurt other people if they can. I mean, just was yesterday, 19 or 16 members of an extended family of Sheikh Saleh Abu Zayna, is an Yemeni sheikh in the province of Sada in Yemen. That the entire family were destroyed in their humble, simple, poor house by the Saudi airstrikes. They don't care that why we are killing these innocent poor people. They are already poor, they already are oppressed. And with all these big weapons and billions of dollars, you are using it to destroy this house and kill the kids and the babies with their parents, all on the rubble. This is human beings that عبيد الشهوات وعبيد البطون وعبيد الشياطين وعبيد الشرور. They worship the evils of their ill desires and they don't care. And then living in this Dar al-Ghurur, nobody else is caring either. How many times we heard the White House or the Congress or officials to condemn these crimes in Yemen? Not only they are silent about all this mess and massacre, they sometimes support and sympathize with them as well. They keep sending them weapons of billions and billions of dollars because Abidu Dunya, they get money, they sell weapons, even if that means to hurt innocent people. So the desires are their drivers. But then the Quran says, قُلْ إِنَّ الْأَوَّلِينَ وَالْآخِرِينَ لَمَّجْمُوعُونَ إِلَى مِيقَاتِ يَوْمٍ مَعْلُومٍ. Remember that all of you, from the first generations to the final generations, all generations are going to be gathered in their meeting with the Lord of Justice. And they will hear this nida, this voice, this message on that day. أَنَا اللَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا أَنَا الْحَكَمُ الَّذِي لَا يَجُورُ الْيَوْمِ أحكم بينكم بعدلي وقسطي لا يظلم اليوم أحد آخذ للضعيف من القوي حقا. This is your Lord is speaking. The Lord of Justice is talking. That today you are going to meet your Lord and rewarded based on your righteousness. And remember that you are not going to be treated unjustly. You are meeting the Lord of Justice. On that day you receive this letter, the record of your life, the record of your righteousness or a record of evilness. هذا كتابنا ينطق عليكم بالحق إنا كنا نستنسخ ما كانوا تعملون. Subhanallah, نستنسخ. We were making copy, نسخة. كنا نستنسخ ما كنتم تعملون. Everything that you were doing, you are making a copy of the reports and the records of what you did. And in that day, وَإِذَا الْمَوْءُودَةُ سُئِلَتْ بِأَيِّ ذَنبٍ قُتِلَتْ. This verse is about the babies, the baby girls who were buried at the time of Jahiliyyah. Those babies, they were not Muslims. Their parents were pagans. But still Allah says, on the Yawm al-Ma'ad, we are going to ask you about those babies of the kids, of the pagans, of the age of ignorance, that what was their crime, for what reasons they were killed and buried alive. If the justice of Allah is concerned about the babies of the pagans, what about the babies of those whose parents says La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, the families of faith? Quran is keeping warning the humanity about that day of justice. اليوم تجزى كل نفس بما كسبت لا ظلم اليوم إن الله سريع الحساب. When you lived in Dar al-Ghurur, that was Dar al-Dhulm, the dunya, a world full of injustice and oppression. But in Yawm al-Khulud, when you meet with your Lord, no more oppression, no more injustice. It is the day of judgment, a day of justice. They are going to ask about all these questions. There was a report I was reading yesterday, a study done with Associated Press. Some reporters from this news agency have been counting the number of mass graves in Iraq and Syria. Till 2 days ago, they counted 72 huge mass graves in Iraq and Syria. That thousands of innocent people were beheaded, killed, and buried in those mass graves. Remember, these are people that they don't have access still to all the areas where ISIS and terrorists still they are dominating. And these are very careful not to go to any territories, but still they were able to count so far 72 of them. Only God knows when those territories are liberated how many more mass graves of innocent people, men, women, and children. Maybe thousands of them are there, and tens of thousands of innocent people. اليوم تجزى كل نفس بما كسبت لا ظلم اليوم إن الله سريع الحساب. You are rewarded based on your righteousness or your rebellion against your Lord on that day. يقول أبو ذر الغفاري عن النبي صلى الله عليه وآله فيما يرويه عن ربه عز وجل أنه قال: يا عبادي إني حرمت الظلم على نفسي أو حرمت الظلم على نفسي وجعلته بينكم محرما فلا تظالموا. النبي عليه السلام is quoting from maybe Hadith al-Qudsi that Allah is talking with His messenger in this conversation. Allah is saying that, oh my servant, remember that your Lord is not an oppressive Lord. I would never oppress anyone. And I don't want any of you to be oppressive either. If oppression is haram for God, then oppression is haram for everybody else as well. Don't oppress, don't hurt. Do not let your desires drive you in dangerous directions to live under shaitan, under evil. And brothers and sisters, remember that when we talk about oppression, we are not talking about oppression now in Syria and Iraq or Libya or Palestine or Afghanistan only. Oppression is not only what the Sufaha of Saudi are doing as the states of sponsoring terrorism and torture. It is not only in the US foreign policies that the same time John Kerry goes to Saudi and meet with the king of corruption and says nothing about their crimes in Yemen and everywhere else. So we talk about oppression, we don't mean only political oppressions and international oppressions, but even individual oppression, the family oppression. Oppression of a husband against his wife, a wife against her husband, parents against children, children against parents. I receive so many letters, so many questions, locally, nationally, internationally. People go to our website, Islamic House of Wisdom, ask the Imam. I was just checking some of this letter yesterday morning. Tens of letters just in 1 week. Everybody is complaining, husband and wife and children and parents and boyfriend and girlfriends. And everybody is blaming everybody and everybody attacking everyone. I'm going to say, I hate my husband. I don't want to hurt him, but I hate him. And others say, well, I love my husband, but I don't like him. Okay, I don't know what that means, that you love him, but you don't like him. And then the same thing about husband, about their wife and their children, that hatred, being mean, hurting one another, making wasiyah that if I die, I don't want my children to come to my funeral, or even my brothers and sisters. There's so many people, they put all their money for their cats and dogs. They don't want anybody to get it. There's so much hatred, even inside the family. What is going on? قال صلى الله عليه وآله أيما امرأة أذت زوجها بلسانها لم يقبل الله منها صرفا ولا عدلا ولا حسنة من عملها حتى ترضيه وإن صامت نهارها وقامت ليلها وكانت أول من يرد النار وكذلك الرجل إذا كان لها ظالما. This is hadith from the Holy Prophet. I didn't make it up. And Rasul alayhi salam is saying that when a wife is torturing her husband with her tongue, terrorizing him with her tongue, Allah would not accept her salat, even if she is praying the whole night and fasting during the day. And doing all of this is not going to be acceptable, because she is doing oppression and injustice to her husband. And if the husband does the same thing, وَكَذَلِكَ الرَّجُلُ إِذَا كَانَ لَهَا ظَالِمًا, then the Prophet said, أَلَا وَأَيُّمَا امْرَأَةٍ لَمْ تَرْفُقْ بِزَوْجَهَا وَحَمَلَتْهُ عَلَى مَا لَا يَقْدِرُ عَلَيْهِ وَمَا لَا يُطِيقُ لَهُ لم تقبل منها حسنة وتلقى الله وهو عليها غضبان. There are wives that they have so much expectations and too many expectations from their husband. He has to work like 10 to 14 hours during the day, and then coming home and there is nothing home. The kids are hungry now. He has to start cooking and cleaning the mess in the house. And says, yeah, we have to be equal. Now she wants to be equal now at this time. And expecting from him all the material. You have to have a jewelry of like $30,000, $40,000 of ring for me, and taking me to Hawaii and doing this and do that. And expecting something that he cannot do it. The Prophet said, she is making the house like a hell for her husband. Then her place would be hell as well, because she is the maker of hell here. كانت أول من يرد النار, is one of the first to go to hell. Of course, the same responsibility for men as well. I mean, if he is coming home and working few hours, and now he expects her to work hard and pay the bill and take care of the other things. She has to work, she has to cook, she has to clean, she has to do all of this work, and then the gentleman just after a few hours just stop by in the house and goodbye. He want to go and be with his friend for Argili till like 3, 4 in the morning. That is oppression as well, and that is injustice. So injustice is not only about ISIS or Israel or Saudi, but also injustice in our house. اتقوا الله. Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam is saying, اتقوا الله في عباده وبلاده فإنكم مسؤولون حتى عن البقاع والبهائم. In the eyes of Allah on the day of judgment, He is going to ask you your responsibility, even in the biqa'i, means the earth, the environment. If you just throw the garbage all over and you don't care about cleanliness of the environment and make it poisonous for others, well, behind, even you are responsible for the animals if you have a responsibility. قال عليه السلام اطلعت الليلة أسرى على النار فرأيت امرأة تعذب فسألت عنها فقيل إنها ربطت هرة ولم تطعمها ولم تستسقها ولم تدعها تأكل من خشاش الأرض حتى ماتت فعذبها بذلك. واطلعت على الجنة فرأيت امرأة موسمة يعني زانية فسألت عنها فقيل إنها مرت بكلب يلهث من العطش فأرسلت إزارها في بئر فأسرته في حلقه حتى روي فغفر الله لها. This is responsibility of the animals. Is the Prophet says on the Laylatul Mi'raj, the night of ascension, I saw a lady like she is mu'azzabah, she was punished, and I said, why they are punishing this lady? And I heard that she owned a cat and she put this cat under limitation, didn't feed it, didn't give it water, and didn't free the cat to go and take care of itself. And the cat died, was hungry and thirsty and in prison of this individual. She is punished for hurting, for oppressing a cat. While I saw another lady, she was happy, though they said that she was doing adultery, even a serious sinner. This is why she is not punished, why she is happy now. And I heard that one day she was passing by and she saw a dog. The dog was thirsty. And this lady used her clothes in a well and made her clothes wet and then squeezed her clothes and created some drops of water and saved that dog from death. And Allah is forgiving this lady and rewarding her just for that reason. If we are responsible for animals, cats and dogs, what about human beings? What about our wife and husband and children and parents and brothers and sisters and neighbors and other human beings? I know there was a lady that I know her and I know her husband. They are really good model in our community. Very faithful, very sincere. She came to me a few days ago and she said that we have a cat in our house and we have been taking care of this cat for 19 years, because usually the average lifespan of cats is like between 12 years, 15 years. But this cat is already 19 years. That means they have been taking care of it so good that the cat is living even longer. But she told me that now the cat is so old and so sick, it is suffering, and we are suffering from its suffering, and it's making dirty the environment, and we don't know what to do. Is it okay we let this cat go to sleep? You know, the way they do the injection, and what should we do? And I told her that it really is suffering, and is a haraj, and it made the life difficult, brought so much hardship for the family, and you know that it is in such a difficult time, and there is no any other way that you can help the cat or help yourself. In that case, it might be okay to let the cat sleep and end its life this way with dignity. So you see that somebody faithful cares even about the cat, and I honor this understanding. But you see, in this world there are so many people. How many times you heard that in some Palestinian territories, the people are deprived even from drinking water, and they die out of thirst and hunger. People don't care about other people. And Allah says, we warn you, اقرأ كتابك كفى بنفسك اليوم عليك حسيبا. This is the report or the record of your life. Read it, and we let you judge for yourself. We let you to be judge of what you did in the world. كلا إن كتاب الأبرار لفي عليين وما أدراك ما عليون كتاب مرقوم يشهده المقربون. Either you lived a life of this category of abrar, the righteous, then your record is fi alliyin, means in the highest level of heaven, close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, al-muqarrabun. But there are different categories. كلا إن كتاب الفجار لفي سجين وما أدراك ما سجين كتاب مرقوم. The sijin, those sinners, their book, their file is in sijin because they are sinners. The sinners for sijin. وما أدراك ما سجين كتاب مرقوم. They already determined to be the people, Ashab al-Shimal, that they live a life of irresponsibility, a life of injustice. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with understanding of these Quranic verses, not to be deceived in Darul Ghurur, and always remember that ahead of us is Darul Khulud, the eternity, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a just judge. فَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ خَيْرًا يَرَهُ وَمَنْ يَعْمَلْ مِثْقَالَ ذَرَّةٍ شَرًّا يَرَهُ. عباد الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون وإلى الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.